y'all, welcome back to the channel. I am Hannah Mariah. I hope you all have been doing absolutely fabulous. So today I'm going to be doing another sim speed build. This is going to be in the starter neighborhood of Willow Creek. I am going to be doing a base game starter house today. So that means that I'm only going to be using items that you can find in base game, and I'm going to be keeping this build under 20,000 simoleons, which from what I could read is how much you get with a single sim when you start playing the game. So for this build, I decided to keep it pretty simple. I use base decorations. I try to keep it as pretty low key as possible while still making it really cute and really inviting for your sim to live in. I hope you guys enjoy it. I really enjoyed making this actually. I haven't used just base game in a long time. Ever since I've got the packs, I kind of, it's hard not to stick to the new stuff that we get. But I really enjoyed making this. I think it turns out really, really cute actually. I'm very pleased with what I was able to put together. I end up going with sort of like a gray and yellow and like a dusty blue and cream sort of color scheme. It's not my favorite color scheme, but I do think that it works. I think it's really sweet. These windows that I use specifically, they use these yellow shutters and yellow trim, which is so cute. I don't think I've ever used them before. But anyway, yeah, I really enjoy this build, and I hope you guys like it. I am building this in, like I said, the starter neighborhood for Willow Creek, which is down in the bottom right corner. I demolished this lot. It's right next to the one on the very end across the street. I can't remember the name of it right now, and I can't really read what I've got on my screen because it's so tiny, but it's in that starter neighborhood. So if you do have a sim that you're just starting out with, you don't have to use cheats. You don't have to use, motherload or anything like that. You should just be able to move right into this home with the amount of money that you're given when you start playing the game. And I don't care for the starter houses, obviously, that we get when just, starting to play the game. So I was really happy to try to make a starter house for myself. So I keep saying this, but I'm really pleased with how it turned out. I'm kind of proud of myself. So anyway, this is me trying to make the floor plan work for the most part. I really like the floor plan that I ended up going with. The bedroom and the bathroom are huge. There's plenty of room in this build for a single sim, or even really a couple. If your sim gets married, or this house would be able to work until you're able to make more money, or you want to upgrade and have kids. It's a really good size that I was able to make with the 20,000 simoleon budget that I gave myself. But yeah, this is me trying to make the bedroom and bathroom work. This is the final layout that I am going with. I do make the kitchen and living room open to one another, and I found this suggestion online when it says little budget ways to make your sim's house look more inviting. And instead of having the archway through to the kitchen that we are given, I think it's in the Windows menu, what you do is you can put columns and then add spindles, which is what I've done right here. And it makes it look very open, but still is kind of divided, which is something that I'm really enjoying messing around and playing with right now. So, but yeah, I moved the whole house back off the lot just a little bit to kind of give more of a little walkway with some plants and flowers up in the front. Here I am, making the little walkway, and I add the dirt and the, a couple of rocks and grass. I think I may put a few in. Yes, I do put a few in right now. My strategy for making this build was kind of to focus on the basics first, and then go in and try to decorate and make it look really cute as I go on. Because I think when I started with the kitchen, I was like, I'll put in all these cabinets and all of these decorations. And then I realized that I'd spent a bit more money than I wanted to. So I was like, I'm going to have to scale it back, do what I need to do, and then I can go in and add decorations, which makes it to where I don't cohesively finish a room, one at a time. I do parts of it and then go back and finish it. But I think it's the best way to make sure that you stay in the budget that your sim is given, especially if you're going to do build your own starter house without cheats. So that's how it worked best for me, and how I was able to include everything that your sim is going to need without going over budget. So yeah, here I am adding some bushes. I use the cheapest flowers that you can get. Those little, I think they're pansies is what they're called. I put those little pansies in there, and I realized that scaling up your flowers it's great. It makes it look like I've got bigger, more expensive bushes when actually they're I think they're daisies, maybe daisy I can't remember what they're called, but they're one of the cheaper bushes that you can get. And so I put those around, scaled them up to where they look a little bit bigger, and it makes it look like you've spent more on it when you actually haven't. But I'm going in here adding some light so we can see what we're dealing with. And I think I start with the kitchen first. I had a little bit of issue trying to figure out what color is going to work on these walls. I start with gray, I go to brown, I think I mess with some blue, and that's what I end up going with, is sort of the grayish blue. I thought it looked really, really cute with the yellow, especially the yellow columns that I chose to use to separate the kitchen and the living room. Yellow walls was a little bit too much, too much yellow. I didn't want it to be too sunshiny. So yeah, I go with this light blue, and I think it works really nice. I go with some really light wood floors, which I don't think I've ever used those base game floors until this build, and they're so cute. I love them. I might have to pull those out from time to time. But I was trying to figure out which cabinets would work. I was going to use the basic cabinets, but I ended up going with these Harbinger, I think is what they're called, ones. I think I do stay with the white countertops. They're a little bit more expensive than the basic ones, but they're not that bad, and I think they really work with this space. As far as like wood tones go in this, I pretty much stick between white and like the sort of light tan sort of wood tones, which I think works. It ends up being a lot of yellowish wood tones, which I don't know. I probably could have switched it out. Maybe some dark wood would have looked good in here, but I mean, I think it works out. I do opt out of putting cabinets above the kitchen counters, just because they are really expensive, and they're not actually necessary for this. I think it looks fine without them. I'm a big proponent of the upper cabinets, but in this instance, I decided not to. And there you see those like light wood chairs that I chose for that, for the little dining area. That dining room table is very, like, the colors were absolutely perfect. I was so pleased that that was a swatch that I could use for that. And I'm trying to make it, this is me messing around with the floor plan a little bit more. I decided to take it down a little bit on the bedroom. It was a little big, and the kitchen was a little big, and to save some money I cut down a little bit on the size, but you can't really tell. I think it looks great. I think there's plenty of room for your sim. Here I am trying to add a little bit of clutter to the kitchen at first. I kind of use all of my decoration, not all of my decoration budget, but quite a bit of it in the kitchen at first, and then I have to scale it back for the rest of the build. At least until I realize how much money I have left to play with. But yeah, I believe I add a floating shelf in here here in a second. Yes, there we go. Add a couple of floating shelves. Just put like a plant and a little picture frame up there for now. I can't remember if I go back and change it later. I might to add a little bit more in this kitchen, but I think this is where I leave the kitchen for now. And then I go into the living room next, put a couple doors in. I really like this layout. I'm really enjoying using diagonal walls from time to time. I think it like can really open the space up. But anyway, here I am going on to the living room. I add these base game, what are they called? Love seats. I add these base game love seats. They're not my favorite. They do come in amazing colors. There's so many colors that you can choose from. And I chose this cream color to match the curtains and to match the woods, and I think it works really well. Now, I say that I was only using items that came in base game. I messed up. I picked that rug on accident. I was not paying attention, and I chose something that came from a pack, but it makes me sick that that rug isn't in base game because it's so perfect for this build. The colors are absolutely perfect. It's so pretty. I was a little disappointed when I when I saw that I had made that mistake, but it's all good. I gave a basic TV, basic entertainment center, console, basic decorations, and bookshelf right there, a little chair to read in the corner. Like I said, I kept it really simple for the living room, at least for right now. Until I can go back and add some more decorations. But chose this base game bed. I thought those colors worked really well, at least the woods and the gray that I used a little bit throughout. Add a couple side tables, a clock on the outside, and just a few like basic items, a couple of little lights to put on the side right there. Nothing that costs too much. I tried not to really go past the second or third line of items while building this, just because more, at least when it comes to like decorating and speed building like this, is better. And it looks really nice when, you can clutter up a house and make it look really nice for a budget. So, but I'm trying to pick a rug in here. I do pick a rug that comes with base game this time. So be proud. The color works really well. Again, I'm going with that cream. I don't know, with the walls, it doesn't look too bad to use all this cream, but it is quite a bit, especially with the light woods. So maybe I could have gone a little bit darker and used a couple different tones. But anyway, and then I'm adding a basic shower in with this Subway hallway tile walls that we also got with base game that I'm obsessed with, the gray ones. I think I used them in my last build in the apartment renovation, but use them again because they're great. I also didn't mention in this build, these are medium height walls, which I didn't realize until I was probably far too along in this build, but they are medium height walls, and that is also something else that you could do to try to make your starter houses or budget houses look a little bit larger, is to make the ceilings a little bit higher. It doesn't cost anything to increase the wall height, so something you can do. I think it really helped. I think it really makes this build look a little bit more airy, especially in the living room and the kitchen. So, but I've done all my basics for this build, everything that your sim needs really. Just now I'm going in and using the rest of my budget to add in some decorations and some books and a couple of plants here and there. I do end up these things that I'm trying to put on the walls, they kind of look like cathedral windows is what I think in my head. They do come with base game. I have never used them once in my life. I placed them on this wall just as a cheap decoration to fill in the wall and make it look a little bit less empty, but I get rid of them. I don't think they work. I'm not really sure in what instance people use them. You could put them in front of a window, I guess, but I mean, it would have to be really excellent spacing. But yeah, see, I get rid of them and put some basic sim art up and around, and add a floating shelf in the bathroom with a plant, I believe, and some candles. It took me ages to get bathrooms when they're really small like that. It's really hard to get the camera in there and still be able to see the wall. I ended up having to blindly place the candles on that floating shelf, and it just miraculously worked. The same with this plant. It's really frustrating. I feel like free placement in this game with the move objects cheat is a little bit, it works really well most of the time, but then other times it just kind of falls a little flat. But I put a window box outside, and I do put that little base game bench in there, and a couple of plants here and there. I think this build looks really cozy. I really enjoy it. I did put that little garden hose out there, which I've never used. I always miss it in the menu, and it's really nice little base game item that they've given us. And then I put a couple of like a pile of laundry and some cologne and perfume on the dresser out there in a little plant. That plant right there that I placed, I ended up moving it outside because I love it so much. I feel like it fits a lot better than the one that I had. And go through and put a little shoe rack, and I put some lights up around. I don't remember if I do a welcome mat. I don't think I do. I think I'm getting pretty close to my spending limit, but I add some books in the living room and some more just little cheap frames, artwork up and about. And then I start to go outside and add some trees just to kind of help this lot blend into the rest of it. I really like the trees that I chose. I don't remember what they're called, but they feel really well, especially if you size some of them up. They fill a lot more of the backyard space. But I go in and I add some dirt and some grass around those, and that's pretty much the end of the build. Thank you all so much for watching and coming along with me. Comment down below if you enjoyed, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye, guys.